to Mage Knight on the Dragon Table. As you can see, this takes up a fairly substantial amount of space, especially once you get farther into the game and the map is kind of filled out and you've got cards everywhere. I've even got the cards for my players up on the edge of my table because I've lost space to put them down below. I did want to point out that in at least one of the previous videos on Mage Knight, I made another mistake. Big surprise. When you get an advanced action card from the offer from leveling up, and you do it at the end of your turn, it does not go to your discard pile, like I said previously. It goes to the top of your deed deck, which means it'll be available for you the next turn. Sorry, messed that one up. In any case, back to our game. So as you can probably tell, you didn't miss anything. I skipped ahead in the game and I played farther along so that we could get to the end point of the game, which is conquering the cities. Because there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the middle that would have just been repeating what I'd already covered in the other videos. We do have a third monastery out now, so I have 3 advanced action cards out that are available for monasteries. Our Mage Knights have discovered the first 2 cities. So the first 2 cities are level 5. The first one they discovered was the green city, and then they discovered the blue city. So there is one more city to be discovered, and there's one more core tile left, so we know that the city is on that tile, and that's going to be a level 8 city. I don't know what color it's going to be yet, but I've set out the corresponding city cards, the one for the blue city and the one for the green city, and I've put their defending monsters on top of them, upside down of course, because you don't know what's defending the city until you enter it. Arithia and Tovok are gearing up for a cooperative assault on the green city. This is also the 5th round, so this is the last daytime round. I have chosen tactics for the players already. Goldix randomly chose Mana Steal, so he is going first. Arithia chose Planning, so at the end of each of her turns, if she has at least 2 cards in her hand before she draws as if her hand limit is 1 higher. And both Arithia and Tovok have leveled up and can have 6 cards in their hand, which is very helpful. Tovok did the tactic Great Start, so he gets 2 extra cards. So the player that goes first is Goldix. 1, 2, 3, and it's white, and he's got 2 white crystals on him, so he draws 2 more cards. Okay. So our Mage Knights have 2 rounds now, basically, to conquer both of the existing cities and find and conquer the 3rd city. It's not going to be easy. These cities are guarded by sometimes some pretty nasty things, and every city gives a bonus to its defenders. The green city, which is the one that they're going to be attacking this turn, gives all of its defenders poison. So if any of the attacks go through to our Mage Knights, then they will also get not only wound cards in their hand, but they will get wound cards in their discard piles, which simulate poison taking a long time to take effect. So now it would be Arithia's turn, and what she's going to do, she's going to move into the city. In order to initiate attack. And you can attack a city by yourself, or you can propose a co-op. And I'm proposing a co-op for this one. So she is going to play Ambush as her first card. She's going to power it up with the green. That's going to give her a move of 4, but what it's going to do is it's going to add +2 to her first attack card of any type, or +4 to her first block card of any type that she plays. And to show that she's moved into the city, because obviously the city space is taken by the click, our city clicks model, is you actually move onto the card. So she's onto the card. Technically, before she would do that, she would have to propose the assault, because once she moves into the city, then she gets to see the defenders and they would attack her. So the first thing that she does is she says, I propose we attack this city. And I propose that I am going to handle these two guys. She doesn't know what they are yet. And I propose that Tovok, you will handle this one guy. And that's her proposal. And then Tovok can either agree or disagree. And he's just going to agree for the sake of simplicity. And the reason that she's choosing to take on 2 of the defenders instead of just 1 is because if she's able to defeat 2 of the defenders, she will be able to put 2 of her tokens on the city and become the city leader, which will give her more points at the end of the game. So Tovok's just hoping that he's going to be able to be a city leader in one of the other locations. So he agrees to the cooperative assault. So she's going to take all of her actions first, and then he is going to take his actions. So first things first, she gets to see what she's going to be fighting, and I'm going to bring them over here so I can see them. We've got a city defender that has a armor of 7 with fire resistance. He also has an ice attack of 3. He also has swiftness and paralyze, and he's worth 7 points. And then there's a gargoyle who has armor of 4 with physical resistance and an attack of 5, and he's worth 4 points. So now I have to decide, let's see. I think I can take care of him with a siege attack, because one of the things that I've been able to do since I played further into the game and got the core tiles out is I've been able to get some elite units out. Once you've flipped over the first core tile, which is the ones with the brown back, then the next time you put out units, you put out elite, regular, elite. And that's how you start getting out the units from the gold deck. So she's got a unit from the gold deck, which is nice. She's got catapults, so she's got a nice siege attack. She can power up her catapult with a blue crystal and use them to get a siege ice attack of 5, which is nice. So that'll take care of 5 of this fire resistant attack, leaving 2 that still has to be taken care of. But if you'll remember, we played ambush, and I powered it up, so she got to add 2 to her first attack card of any type. So this would get a +2 attack to it, which would take care of these guys. So these guys have been defeated, and I'm just going to put them off to the side. These guys have, and I should also mention that these are all fortified, so range attack doesn't work on any of these. Let's see, the only siege she has left in her hand is a siege attack of 2. That's not going to work. So she needs to be able to block 5, which she can do using improvisation. She has to discard a card, so she's going to discard this one. She's going to discard Tranquility. And she's going to use one of her red crystals to power that, which will give her a block of 5. So she blocks him. Now she needs to come up with an attack of 8. Well, we've got this card. If she puts a red crystal on it, that's an attack of 4. And then I've got 2 cards. Either one of these would work. They have to be powered, but either one of them would work. I think I'm going to use the Swift Bolt because I want to hang on to my Battle Versatility card for later, and this I'll have to power. Remember, I can use range or siege attack as regular attack. I just can't do it vice versa. So during this phase where I'm just attacking them regularly, I can use my ranged attack as regular attack. So that would give me an attack of 4, attack of 4 is attack of 8, which is enough to take out this guy who has physical resistance. So bye-bye Gargoyle. And he's worth 4 points. So she is done with her attacks that she had to deal with on this turn. She will get to put 2 of her markers on the city. And there's 1 defender left now that Tovok is going to have to take care of, that I'm going to put out in front here. Now these go away. These get discarded. She gets 11 points. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Not quite enough to level, unfortunately. This goes away. And she'll draw back up to her hand limit. Doesn't really matter when she does this, but she'll go ahead and do it now. And now Tovok has this ugly thing to deal with that is double fortified. That means even siege attack won't work, because not only is he fortified from being in the city, he's also fortified on his card. I should also mention that Arithia will go down 1 on the reputation track because she attacked a fortified site. Same thing with Tovok. And let's see. Tovok needs to move into the city. And it costs 2 to move into any city either day or night. It doesn't matter what the city is on, what type of terrain it's on. It always costs 2 to move into a city. That's noted here on the tile on the board. So let's see. He can use agility. He can power that with a white die, I think. That's what he's going to do. And agility will give him move 4. And during combat, any leftover move can be used as attack. So he's going to get an extra 2. So he moves into the city with Arithia. And he can't use any siege on this thing because it's double fortified. So he's going to have to block 6 and then attack 6, which should not be a problem. Okay. He can use the Foresters to block 3. And then he can flip over his 1 ability that will give him another 3 block. So that gives him a block of 6. So now he has to come up with an attack of 6, which shouldn't be a problem. He will do this with an attack of 4, and then he's got another rage card in his hand. That will give him an attack of 2. That's a total of 6. Ta-da! He has defeated the monster. So they have conquered the first city. Hooray! This is going to get rolled back into the source. This goes away. These get discarded. He's going to draw back up to his hand limit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 1 too many. Counting's hard. Okay, and he gets 5 points for killing this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he gets to place 1 of his shields on the city. So he's not going to get to be a city leader, but he will get points at the end of the game for having a shield on that city. Now it's the end of their turn. You can't take any more actions. But on their next turn, if they wanted to hang out in the city, they could take advantage of the city's bonus, which once the city is conquered, in the green city, you can spend 6 influence to get an advanced action card either from the offer or 1 from the face down pile. So if you want to get 1 but you don't like anything that's in the offer, you can pay 6 and get 1 from that's face down. You just don't get to look at it first. And they might want to do that because they might want to think about continuing to, I'm not sure, let's see, Blood Ritual is pretty decent. These both are influence cards. It's not as key at the end of the game. If there is an outstanding like attack card or something, it might be worth getting because that's basically all they're doing here at the end is they're trying to set up for conquering, finishing off these last cities. So that's what they're going to be up to next. And that's how you handle conquering a city. They now can either work together, they continue to travel together, or they can split up. If they're worried about the time, if they're worried about not having enough time to get both of the other cities, for one thing, the one discovered and the other conquered, especially since, as I noted before, the core tiles have a lot of heavy movement on them. They've got swamps, which cost 5 to move through. They've got desert, which costs 5 during the day, 3 at night. They've got forest, which costs 5 at night, 3 during the day. So they might want to be thinking about going ahead and trying to get to the other cities, maybe splitting up in order to do it, since they were pretty handily able to take on that city together and had even some cards left over to spare. I think that they could probably separate and go on their own to finish off the last 2 cities. But I probably don't need to show that for you to understand how this game works. I think we've done a pretty good job of covering it. This is the official 2-player cooperative full conquest version of the game. Once they finish off the last 2 cities, they would win the game. And then they would score according to, there's a card that comes with the game, or you can refer to the rule book that goes over the extra scoring that you get. You get extra scoring for having spells and advanced action cards. You get points for having artifacts and crystals in your inventory. You get points for the units that you have based on the number that's in the upper right-hand corner of the unit. The elite units are higher than the regular units. You get points for being the greatest conqueror. So if you've conquered a lot of the, if you've conquered some keeps, some mage towers, maybe burned some monasteries, that'd be fun to do. You get more points. You also get points for tackling the adventure sites that are out there, like the spawning dens, the monster pits, and the tombs, and so forth. And you also get minus points if you're the person with the most wound cards in your hand. That means you took the greatest beating, which just sounds funny. And then also for the conquest scenario, which is what you're playing, and then also for your co-op scenarios, you get additional points. For each city, the city leader gets 7 fame. So Arithia is the city leader there, so she would get 7 fame for that city. And Tovok would get 4 fame because he helped, and he has a shield there to prove it. So in addition to your scoring, you also get 10 points per conquered city. You get plus 15 if all the cities were conquered. So you get some additional points based on what was conquered and how much of a hand you played into it. So there is, even though it's a cooperative game, there is a winner at the end, whoever has the highest fame. But the first time you play through this game, you're just going to be happy to beat the cities, and you're not probably going to really care who wins. You might, I don't know you. You might care. But then as you get used to playing the game, you're going to find that you're going to be wanting to turn up these cities. And you can do whatever you want. They go up to 11. That's the highest the cities go up to. But if that's not even enough for you, you can combine cities into megalopolises, which is explained in the rulebook. So you can have these gigantic cities that are really hard to conquer if you really want a challenge. But that's the basics of it, which is all that I would plan to cover. It took 5 videos to do it in, but I'm glad I did it. I think this is a fantastic game. I love it as a solo game. It's kind of it's kind of an RPG in a box. It's got a lot of those elements to it, and you can really have some fun with it. I do not recommend playing it with more than 3 people. I think ideally 1 or 2, honestly, is the best number to play this game. You can play with 4 if you have the expansion. You can play with 5, which I don't know why anyone would ever want to do that. because it would just, oh my goodness, the pain. Oh, seething flames on the side of my face, burning flames. Yeah, I don't recommend that. If you get people who know the game, it maybe wouldn't be so bad. But inevitably when I play this game, I'm teaching it to people, and you generally don't want a ton of people, just because it just takes a while. Analysis paralysis is pretty heavy when you're having to deal with a hand of cards that control everything that you do in the game. And it's pretty much a pure strategy game with very little luck involved. Despite, or unless you count the monsters that you draw as being luck. But that's it. I hope that I've done a decent job covering Mage Knight for you guys. I highly recommend this game, especially if you do some solo play, especially if you like a game that can be very different every time you play it, and that you can change up the storyline and have different scenarios. My personal favorite character is Arythea. I will admit that freely, and mostly because of her Power of Pain ability. I love being able to take wound cards, turn it sideways, and have it be worth 2 points. I love it. But I think that's about it. There, of course, are rules that I didn't cover. It's a big game. There's a lot to it. And if you have a question, if you've been playing it a certain way and I showed you how to do it a different way, don't necessarily take my word for it. Check the rule book. Make sure that I'm explaining it the right way, because it's very possible that I could have made mistakes. I'm doing this primarily from memory, so just from lots and lots and lots of playthroughs. But thank you so much for joining me for this extended version of the Dragon Table. I guarantee you we're going to be playing something a little bit more simple next. But thanks for visiting the Dragon Table, and I will see you next time.